locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Say my name.
Never, ever, ever, ever. And I'll allow you to impersonate Velveteen Dream as long as you promise not to strut around like he does.
Oh, why not?
Because it's frightening, quite frankly. I'll never be able to sleep tonight or any other night if I have to look at that.
Listen, I post those sweet dreams at 12 midnight. Various wrestlers and what have you in the Duke's Rasslin crew.
I would think you'd have something better to do at midnight, personally.
Listen, okay?
Personally, I think you need to get a life when it comes to that kind of thing.
Listen, my life is posting photos of Velveteen Dream at midnight. That's right.
Please stop. Please stop the impersonations. Get to bed. Stop posting these crazy things at midnight.
I'll consider it. Probably not. Welcome back to Duke Loves Rasslin. I am the Duke. And yes, I do enjoy doing pro wrestler impersonations, including Velveteen Dream.
Stop. You're making my skin crawl.
No matter what my illustrious co-host, the Boston Bad Boy, I'm Mike Pelosi says.
You're like the Velveeta Dream. You're just like the...
Cheese, huh?
You're just cheesy. You're just cheesy and just unhealthy. It's just bad for you. That's what you are. You're the Velveeta Dream.
And you know what you are? Rude.
I am the glue that holds this whole operation together. That's what I am.
Yeah, you're the crazy glue. That's more like it there.
Hey, whatever works.
What are the top stories in the world of pro wrestling?
Don't care.
Well, you're going to find out anyway, pal, during Run the Ropes. Also, what's it like being rated Best Buns on TMZ?
Wow. I don't know. Well, you know what? I didn't want to say this, but I have many accolades from the Best Buns category from various institutions, and I can bring in the trophies if you'd like me to, and we can have a whole episode devoted to my buns and the awards they've won.
I'm not talking about you, wise guy. I'm talking about Lil Noel Harlow LoGrasso.
Oh, all right.
Say that 3 times fast. All right, so we're going to talk to her a little later, find out what's really going on with the Best Buns and hometown hotties and all kinds of crazy stuff there. But Boston Bad Boy, before we get to any of that.
Yeah, what do we got?
Alberto El Patron has lost his restaurant.
Really?
Yeah, this is crazy, bro. It's been around for less than a year.
All right, he's had this restaurant for less than a year.
Yep.
And what kind of restaurant?
Well, it was a Mexican food restaurant.
Okay.
You know,
which I'm a big fan of, by the way. I actually had a burrito today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What kind of burrito?
Spicy chicken with the beans and the rice and the whole. It was delicious. It was quite filling. It was nice. I liked it. So I'm a big fan of the Mexican cuisine.
Sure, me too. Authentic Mexican. Too,
well, it has to be. You don't want to go into that fake stuff.
Well,
I've never been to Taco Bell.
I know you said that before, and that still boggles my mind.
And I'm still never going to be.
Well,
but can I just tell you? I know we got to get into this, but can I tell you? Over the weekend, I had a revelation.
What?
Because I had never been, as I had said last week, well, at least not in a long time, to the Popeye's fried chicken.
Yeah.
I went.
And?
Unbelievable. I've been craving it every single day.
It's salty, though.
For a week. You know, I expected it. It was less salty than I expected.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely delicious. Although I went in like an idiot, right? I walk in and it's sort of like a buffet style behind the counter. So you say, okay, I'll have a 3-piece meal. Okay, so you get your drink and your side. That's easy. But they have all the chicken in the window. But there's no label. And suddenly, I forgot the parts of a chicken. So the woman behind the counter was very sweet. She says, okay, well, what parts do you want? And I said, well, what parts are there? I couldn't think of wing, breast.
What's wrong with you?
I couldn't think of breast. And that was unsettling for me.
Yeah.
But needless to say, I got it squared away. She helped me out. I had a Dr. Pepper, which I thought was more appropriate to go against the salty chicken.
Sure.
And, boy, it was unbelievably good.
See?
It was the best fast food choice I've made in a decade.
Wow. And you've been talking about this for a while.
I know. So anyway, let's get back to Alberto El Patron. Hey, he had his Mexican restaurant.
In San Antonio.
Antonio.
Let me tell you something, man. It officially closed. This guy's just having bad luck all over the place.
Well, you know, there's some statistic that new restaurant failure rate is like 85%.
Sure.
So I guess, you know, it's possible it could happen. But the guy's got some dough. He's in San Antonio. he's probably got some authentic ingredient. You know, it's where you want to be.
Well, there was a lot of fanfare when it opened.
Right, and so it's sort of a big deal. But it's unfortunate if we look at the overall scorecard. Because let's talk about Alberto's ex, shall we?
Okay, be careful.
So you tell me what's going on with her since we last really, got into it.
Well, she's back with the WWE.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Officially on Raw.
Amazing,
competing and all that good stuff there. So that's a flagship show for the company there. So she's at the top of the game again.
So let me get this straight, first of all, before I really get into my idea about this, because I think it's ridiculous. Michael Vick abuses dogs, never plays in the NFL again. She abuses another human being. She's back on the top show.
Well, Vick was suspended indefinitely from the NFL, but he eventually was allowed to come back after years. But I think he went to jail and all kinds
Right, but he was done.
Yeah.
He was done.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying Michael Vick jerseys anymore.
They took away the best years of his career.
That's right. Right. And so, meanwhile, she physically is still young. She's still in the prime of where she's supposed to be at. And it's ridiculous because she abuses him being Alberto. He's on tape saying so. She confesses to doing so, yet here she comes waltzing back in to wrestle in a big money promotion, and her life gets back on track.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Alberto, the survivor of domestic abuse, again, this is not questioned here.
No, it's a fact.
This happened.
It's a fact.
This is not he said, she said, because guess what? They both said.
Yeah.
He's got all the money from promotions. They he lost because they suspended him during the investigation. Now he loses the restaurant for whatever reason. Doesn't really matter. It's just not right. And karma, there's got to be a karma correction coming for this guy. I certainly hope so. Maybe it's not against her, but for crying out loud. He's been wrestling a lot longer than she has, right?
Yeah, actually he has.
So here he is doing his thing. He gets involved with her. She acts like a clown and abuses him, and all of a sudden his whole life comes unraveled. Listen, people make good choices, people make bad choices. It may not have been, you can talk till the cows come home about whether you think they should have been a relationship item. It's beside the point now because what happened, and now here we are. And I think the guy should get some karma correction.
I really feel bad for the guy because I'm going to tell you right now, first of all, he's a solid wrestler, just solid wrestler. And I always appreciated his gimmicks and what he did in the ring. And I don't know what to say. I feel bad for the guy.
It points to something that is very glaring and has been for a long time, just in society as a whole. And that is, for the most part, men who are victims of domestic abuse aren't taken seriously. And so there's this double standard. And I think it needs to be addressed, and I'm going to call it out, because it's not okay, whether or not you're a man, woman, grown person, you're a kid. Enough already. We know better now. Guess what? Again, not up for debate. We know better. Science has proven it. It was never good. It was never good to spank your kid. It never was. Because guess what? The generation who got spanked, us included, our parents, they hated it then. And everyone, it was just a cycle. It was a cycle
violence
of just...
begets violence.
Exactly right.
That's the truth.
Exactly right. So, the double standard here against men not being taken seriously because, I don't know, men are averagely bigger and larger than women. And he's a big dude. He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
So here you get this big, giant dude. And even though she's pretty good shape because she's a wrestler, he's still bigger than she is.
She's tiny compared to him.
It's like, well, what can he should have. Imagine us saying she should have. Imagine if it was changed and it was him who had abused her. And we said, well, she should have.
Well, that's what
X,
everyone
Y,
assumed in the beginning. They assumed that, it must be him abusing her.
Now, listen, men have gotten away with a lot of shit for a long time. Abuse, sexual harassment. And you know what? There's a bit of comeuppance here. So I don't feel too bad for men because, there's a stigma that we got ourselves into. It's it's going to have to come out of that stigma, but we got to start leveling the playing field here for everybody.
Oh, sure.
Everybody needs to be held.
No one should be getting away with that stuff.
That's right. Everybody needs to be held responsible. For what they do.
I can't disagree with you. You're right. You're 100%
That's right. You can't disagree with me.
Yep.
And you know what? You should continue to not disagree with me because you'll find that 99.999% of the time, including those sometimes when I'm asleep, I am correct. So I think you should always agree with me. Don't give me not disagree. What kind of backhanded compliment is that? I do not disagree.
Can you not make it about you for once in your life? Jesus. Alberto, we're pulling for you, brother. You know, as we always have been. We've been on top of this stuff from day one, and I don't know what to say other than I'm sorry. Run the ropes. It's time to run the ropes. This is the part of the show where I educate this knucklehead Boston bad boy on the top 5 stories in the world of pro wrestling.
This is the part of the show where I put my feet up because I don't really care, and I'm just going to sit here and shut my eyes, get a little shut-eye, while you ramble on about geek wrestling stuff. So
smarten up here, wise guy.
Go ahead.
Tim Storm retains the NWA Championship. You remember Tim Storm?
Do I?
Yeah, the National Wrestling Alliance champion was on the show earlier this year.
Yeah.
Great guy. Well, he took on Magnus and beat him.
Really?
Yeah, Nick Aldis, a.k.a. Magnus, who was a former he's a former Impact Wrestling champion, which, you know, that promotion.
Yeah.
But, you know, he was one of the bright spots, though. Give him a little credit there. But Tim Storm was able to defeat him, which is great. And it looks like Tim's going to be NWA champion for a long time.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
See what happens when you come on this show?
Billy Corgan, don't mess this up.
Yeah.
Okay?
See, when you're on this, other than you, Duke, people who are on this show, myself included, we're on a meteoric rise in our lives. You are grounded. You're like a hot air balloon that's just run out of hot air.
Sure.
And I wish you'd run out of hot air fully because I wouldn't have to listen to you.
That'll never happen.
Everybody who comes on this show, I mean, you know, except for you and Rudy Gonzalez, of course, but the rest of us are on a meteoric rise in our lives, and we're doing great.
Wow.
The future's so bright, I got to wear shades.
I don't know what to do with this guy, folks. He puts himself over at every chance he gets.
You should make me your official life coach and pay me for it.
I don't think I would make it.
Look at my meteoric rise.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah, more like a sinking ship.
I'm glowing.
Yeah, you're glowing, all right. Speaking of glowing, major injury on SmackDown.
Uh-oh.
The new faction from NXT, the Riot Squad, they viciously attacked Naomi. You know, she has her gimmick, Feel the Glow, which everything's lit up and all that good stuff there. They beat the hell out of her.
Well, she's feeling the glow, all right.
Well, she sure is. She sure is. And in fact, WWE doctor actually stated what happened to her. Cervical strain, right-sided shoulder separation, and a few facial contusions.
Cervical strain?
Yeah, there's something going on with the back, and yeah.
Isn't that a lady part? Isn't cervical mean lady part?
Well, listen, I'm not here to figure that out.
Well,
man,
listen. You're reading it.
I'm not
Edward
a doctor.
Edward
I just
Armuro
played one on
here.
TV.
You're reading a news copy.
I stayed at a Motel 6. All right, not a doctor here.
I guess I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I always thought that cervical meant
has to do with your
lady.
spine, the lower part of your spine.
Well, yeah. Well, there's the discs in there and things.
Yeah.
I think you might have the wrong word there.
Well, I didn't write it. I'm taking that directly from the WWE.
All right. I may be wrong. Listen, I don't know much about women, so I could be 100% wrong.
Yeah.
So
you don't know much about much.
Until that's proven, I think you're a little misconstrued over there.
Stay out of this. You're going to love this. Velveteen Dream has arrived.
Stop saying it.
I love the guy.
It's like fingers on a chalkboard.
Stop it. Okay? That match he had with Aleister Black at NXT TakeOver War Games is a match of the year candidate.
According to who?
According to everybody. What are you talking about?
What do you mean everybody?
Everybody.
Is there a publication?
Yeah.
A legitimate publication?
Well, you got the Wrestling Observer. You have all the different websites. Everybody's saying it. It's a done deal.
I just didn't want to make sure it wasn't just you.
Well, me.
Because you pretend you have some kind of sway.
Well, look,
and it's BS.
This guy, Velveteen Dream.
Stop saying it.
Patrick from Tough Enough. That's his real name.
Can we use that? Let's do that.
No. He has the aura of Prince, right? The showmanship of Macho Man Randy Savage and the mean streak of Ravishing Rick Rude. What a combination.
The aura of Prince?
Yeah, Prince, like the artist.
The artist formerly known as?
Yes.
The aura of Prince.
That's right.
How does that fit into the wrestling world?
How doesn't it?
Well, the other two examples they gave are wrestlers.
Yeah, but this guy, he has the aura of Prince.
I don't know, man. Prince was kind of a genius.
Well, he's a genius.
No, I don't think so. I'm going
to make you watch that match so you can see what everyone's talking about.
There's no way that VD is what I'm going to call him. Because I'm not saying that name. It's disgusting. Less disgusting than VD.
Oh, my God.
He'll never play basketball with Charlie Murphy.
Oh, I don't. Well,
and if you haven't done that, you ain't Prince. You ain't got it.
Unreal. The biggest indie show ever. Well, that's what Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are aiming for. Listen, Cody Rhodes, who left the WWE, he is just on a tear. He's trying to conquer the world.
All right.
And prove to everybody that the WWE is not the only game in town.
Well, didn't they suspiciously let him out of his contract suspiciously easy?
Yes.
Given Vince McMahon's penchant
Sure.
for wrapping people in a contract and not letting them go.
So what does that mean?
Well, I think this is sort of a Manchurian candidate, is what I think.
Stop it right now! Don't
let
say
him go.
that. Don't
they let him
say
go.
that.
This is what they used to do. Like, you know, those
Oh,
old
my
World War II
goodness.
movies. They'd let them escape the, you know, like the Great Escape. They let them escape to find out where they're going.
To take out everything.
That's right. They follow them though, and it's all an inside. I think that's what's going on here.
Stop it.
I think Vince McMahon. It's like Hogan's Heroes, and Vince McMahon is the Colonel. And I know nothing, but he's really running the whole operation from the inside. And he wants Cody Rhodes to
Stop it. Well, Cody and the Young Bucks are going to put on an indie event next year.
All right.
They got a stadium, 10,000 people. It's going to be the biggest indie show ever.
Where are they getting the money for that?
They're putting up their own money.
Yeah, really?
I know.
I don't know. I don't know. You're starting to play into my idea here.
Stop it.
There
Listen,
might be some dark money involved in
Cody,
this.
if you want to come and slap this man around, I'm going to allow you to do it.
He'd love me, and you'd get some sort of a suplex pile driver combination.
Eesh, that sounds bad. Can you imagine a suplex pile driver? I don't even know what that is, but I'm scared of it. That's right. The #1 story in the world of professional wrestling is... Paige has officially made her return to the WWE. Yep.
Again, it's sick. This is the #1 story. You could my hypothesis about Vince McMahon being the Colonel from Hogan's Heroes, that should be #1 if this person is #1.
Sure. Well, she's back.
I can't even say her name. I have to say person, and I can barely spit that out.
I just hope that she's getting the help that she desperately needs.
Getting the help she needs. How about get the help and then get back into doing work? Because this is what's going to happen. We're dealing with the court of public. What do you call it?
Opinion?
Thank you.
Sure.
And you got me all wound up here.
Yeah. George
wow,
Costanza.
you did something right. George is getting upset. And by her being back in here and in front of everybody, people assume, like, in other words, people assume if something's on television, well, it's got to be
It's
okay.
okay, yeah.
Like, somebody cleared this. Yeah, somebody cleared it, so why not? I'll let my kid watch it. So you're going to let your kid watch it. But it hasn't been cleared. So they're just going to let this, it's going to normalize this. And that's not what should be done with someone who's involved with these kind of actions and allegations and all that.
I hope that's not the case. But hey, she's back. People are happy. We'll see what happens.
Who's happy?
The fans. What do you mean?
I've seen some fans of yours that were happy about it, and they're wrong. More wrong than they usually are. I don't care if they have any problems with me. I don't care. Come at me. Because it's wrong and they're
Come
wrong.
at me, bro.
Yeah, they're wrong, and I don't mind saying it because I'm going to keep saying it, and that's the name of that tune, Jack.
He is unhinged today, folks. You've heard what I think, and unfortunately, you've heard what the Boston Bad Boy thinks.
Please, this is what the people are paying for.
Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm a jerk? Maybe something in between?
Both.
Head over to Facebook. Head over to Twitter. Type in Duke Loves Rasslin and let me know. Up next, we got the hometown hottie, Lil Noel.
I thought you meant me.
This is the pastor of wrestling, Kevin West, and I'm listening to Duke Love Rasslin.
All right, so you were a Maxim magazine hometown hottie. What the heck is that?
Well, Maxim magazine does a competition it's basically for anybody that's like models or singer or whatever have you. And I got contacted about doing the competition. So they sent me a bunch of paperwork to fill out. They asked for photos, professional photos, sent those over, and then all of a sudden I'm up on the Maxim website and I'm in this competition, and I made it pretty close to the final round. They do several rounds, and I kept getting bumped up, which I couldn't believe. And that was it. So you're a Maxim Magazine Hometown Hottie. They pick one winner, and the winner gets a spread in the magazine. I didn't get the spread in the magazine, but I did get on the website, which I was super happy about.
And you know, just to put that in perspective, at that time period there, Maxim was doing even better than Playboy. You know,
Yeah,
so it was amazing when Maxim hit the scene and they were doing the Hometown Hottie thing, because this was like the updated version of Playboy, but everyone wasn't naked. It was implied nudity and what have you there, right?
Yeah, I used to do a site for a gentleman. It was called Verities.com. For some reason, back in the early 2000s, it was almost like the nudity thing was like so like tired. They did these tease photos instead, where you fully clothed. But it's almost like old school, like fan and feather dancers. Like
Yes.
you make sure everything is covered, and that was a really big deal then. And that's how Maxim got my information, was off of that site. And then came to me, and oh my God, there's a ton of paperwork, like legal paperwork you had to fill out. It's
Sure.
even more now, but it fill all this stuff out, and then you were in, and I was just like, oh, all right, I'll do it. I got notarized. I sent the stuff in, and I didn't think anything of it. And then I got an email that's like, this is your number, and you're on the site now. Bam, and I was on, and I kept getting bumped up, and I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And it was pretty cool. It was very cool. I was just starting out in wrestling then, so it got me some attention, which was good.
You know what's interesting? You talk about the nudity thing and the implied nudity. April Hunter, who's also a fan of the show and has been on and what have you there, she talks about the same thing, where on her websites it's the implied nudity that hooks the fans and keeps them interested, as opposed to just bearing everything. It's like there's nothing left to the imagination if you do that. But the implied nudity has worked out for her there.
Duke doesn't understand that it's all about the anticipation. I've had this conversation with him a million times.
Here we go.
That's true. It's anticipation.
That's right. And it's better than just, it's the whole lead up is better than just getting it served to you.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Sometimes you can go to like Chipotle and you're looking at them making all these burritos.
Exactly.
Like you're getting really anxious and you definitely want to go up there and get extra chicken in your burrito. And then you go up there and you get the extra chicken and they give you that tiny little scoopful, and then you take it and you sit down and you were like,
yeah.
All right.
The chicken
the anticipation of getting that really good burrito, but they rip you on the extra chicken.
Yeah, the extra chicken tasted better in line than it did when you actually finally got it.
Right.
Wow.
Your mouth is watering, you're looking at it, you're hungry, and then it gets there and they give you that tiny, itty-bitty little scoop of extra chicken, and your burrito's not packed full, and you're like, oh, that's pretty much what it is.
Well, so
sometimes you get the whole enchilada, and sometimes you don't.
Speaking of mouth-watering, you also won TMZ Best Buns. Tell us how that happened. Because TMZ is a big operation, and quite frankly, they scare me because they're everywhere.
Yep.
They are scary. I didn't win that. I was nominated in that, so I appeared on the site. I have actually no idea how I landed in that and ended up in that. Somebody sent a photo in that they had took at a wrestling show of me beating up 3 guys on the floor. And I was bent over. I had a dress on, but I always wore like little like wrestling shorts, but they were kind of like, up high, and then
they were kind of up.
So I'm bent over beating these guys, and TMZ got the photo, and it was in the contest.
So I heard this story about you, and let me know if this is true. Back in middle school, you were banned from participating in the school wrestling league.
Okay. When I was in middle school, the girls actually wrestled. They had, and it was really neat. We had a really cool teacher. Her name was Ms. Talley. She was awesome. She would have a wrestling, like basically like a little league for the girls in gym class. And they called it WrestleMania. So like I was super hyped about this WrestleMania. Like I was going in there. I was going to be Randy Savage. I was so like, I'm like 13 years old. So I'm all like full of myself and everything else. So we get on the mat and we're starting training, and this girl named Karen gets on the mat with me.
You always remember the name, don't you? You always remember who it was.
See?
I will never forget it. For the rest of my life, I'll never forget it. So we get on the mat, and like we're kind of circling each other up, and she comes at me, and instead of like locking up like normal human beings would do, because you learn how to do the takedowns and all that stuff, I grabbed Karen around her head, I hooked her leg, and perfect flexed her backwards.
Because you thought it was wrestling.
Jeez.
Yeah. So the teacher pulls me out in the hallway. All the kids are like freaking out. Karen's freaking out. And she starts arguing with me about it. And she goes, you can't do that. You could have told him you can't do that. That's not wrestling. And I said, are you trying to tell me Mr. Perfect's not a wrestler?
Damn.
She had no answer for that, I bet.
She just looked at me like, I think you lost your mind. She goes, well, you know, you can be a manager, but we can't have you wrestle. You're dangerous. So I got to be a manager, and I got to walk the people out.
Oh,
it was
boy.
a regular WrestleMania. People dressed in costumes, and it was crazy.
That's funny, but also ridiculous because apparently you were the only one that knew what you were supposed to do.
I know.
And
See?
you got punished for it.
And you were the only one that became a wrestler.
You know what the problem here is that they always get you. When Bobby Heenan was actually a pretty great wrestler.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know this.
Yep.
You watch old Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan could work, but Bobby Heenan was a manager. So sometimes your best workers become managers because people don't want to wrestle them. Just think about that for a little bit.
You know, and it's funny because one person that you talk about often when you talk about people who are your influence is sensational Sherry Martel. And she was an excellent wrestler, but she also was an excellent manager. What was it about Sherry that really got you so excited there?
The reason I wanted to become a wrestler wasn't even that great of a match, but Sherry was involved in it. And that's WrestleMania 7 when the Macho King went against the Ultimate Warrior in the retirement match. And the emotion of that whole match, and Sherry was so good in that match. She just, when she turned on Randy Savage, she was laying kicks into him. Laying them in. And I was a kid with my mouth open in front of the television going, oh, my God, I have to do this. I have to get that. And then to see Miss Elizabeth come into the ring and her and Randy Savage unite, and they look in the crowd and all these people are crying. I said, I've got to get that reaction out of people. I feel like I need to do that. And that feeling started with Sherry. I was lucky enough to work with Coco Beware, and me and my partner were the heels. And I got to do some Sherry spots, and the promoter pulled him, and Brutus Beefcake was involved too, pulled them aside and said, listen, she's our Sherry Martel. If you want to do any spot, she'll do them. And we did. I took my boot off. I went to hit it. I missed. I hit my partner. Brutus Beefcake comes out. I take a power and hide behind the referee. And I did like all Sherry stuff. And then eventually Coco Beware got me, spanked me in the ring, rolled me out, and then they cut the other guy's hair. And the crowd went insane. I'm like, wow, I got like my Sherry moment.
Literally.
With people that actually worked with Sherry. It was
lived
great.
it. You lived your dream there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great feeling. It was a great day.
And Sherry was a manager. I mean, you know, a lot of folks like to refer to female managers as valets, but Sherry was a manager. Can you explain to our audience the difference between a manager and a valet?
Yeah, I can do that. The funny thing is that me and my friend for many years, Devin Sturgis, who was a manager in Virginia and in Jersey with me, we used to talk about it all the time, and he coined the term the fifth ring post. And that's sometimes what I like to compare a valet to. A lot of times it'll be somebody wants to bring their girlfriend or somebody, you know, things like that. They walk the guys to the ring. They don't have much interaction. They don't cut a promo. They're just kind of window dressing.
Wow.
You know, so based on that description, Duke, you are definitely a valet for this show because you're nothing but not good-looking dressing. You're window dressing.
Will you stop?
But it's not good window
you
dressing.
Stop. Don't
I gotta
embarrass
sit here
her
and
in
look
front of the guest.
Yeah,
Stop it.
I need a new window. I need some curtains or something because this window ain't working.
Well,
for me.
I make the place look great there.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, you know, we're talking to Lil Noel Harlow LoGrasso. You're married to Big Vito.
Yes, I am.
So tell us about this guy because I just found out something that I thought was a work, and then I find out that it actually happened. Was he was in Playgirl Magazine?
Yes.
So
he was in Playgirl Magazine.
How did you react to that? Because you're his wife. I mean, we talk about you being the hometown hottie with Maxim and Best Buns and all this other good stuff. Everyone has your picture on their wall and what have you. But here's Vito in Playgirl. So how did you take that?
Well, he did that before I had started even dating him. He did Playgirl. He was still in the WWE at the time when he did the Playgirl shoot. So when we first started dating, it was actually funny because like one of our first conversations, we were almost trying to talk each other out of dating each other. So I would say one thing and he would say the other.
Well, I wish more women would do that with me. Just talk it out. Let's talk. Yeah. Let's talk this away. Let's not even get into this.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Because we had a connection immediately, and one of the things that he said was, "Well, I I did Playgirl, and I was like, did you show your bird? Like,
Your bird.
but he did it. He told me it was very tasty.
Very tasteful. Of
So,
course it was, yeah.
He showed it to me.
Of course.
Like-
He had it right in his wallet. He had it in his
happened
wallet.
to have it with him.
So he didn't show it right away. He didn't show it right away. But when I finally got to his house, he pulled out the Playgirl and he showed me, and he said it's tasteful.
It was,
and it was
it was
tasteful.
it was on the coffee table.
Yeah, of course
he
it
just
was.
had it was sitting there amongst
Bro,
some other things.
that's how we sealed the deal, though. He was
absolutely.
like, look at my spread
He
and
had a
Playgirl.
bunch of issues fanned out on his coffee table. I'm just kidding. He really didn't.
Exactly.
He really didn't. He had it put away. He's a big believer in not putting himself over. Believe it or not, like everybody goes, oh, Vito wants to put himself over. But
No.
Vito does not have one piece of memorabilia displayed in our house. For the longest time, I had a dress thrown over the back of my couch. I had like a studio. I had the dress thrown over the back of my couch that was Vito's. And then when my mom would come down to visit, she would go, oh, my God, that's definitely not yours. Because I just used to like to wind her up.
You're right, of course. So, I mean, one thing we do know about Vito is that he has perfectly plucked eyebrows. He's a huge hit at the local salon. So tell us the truth. What is it like to share a bathroom with a guy who's definitely trying to be prettier than you?
All right, I'm going to give you guys a big piece of advice. There's a big piece of advice from a married lady. Never share a bathroom with your spouse.
Wow.
You will stay married forever if you never share a bathroom. Vito and I cannot share a bathroom.
Is there a lot of product? Is there a lot of
You know this
facial
product.
creams
Sure.
and, you know, all kinds of things,
Yeah.
you know, toothbrushes, different kinds of toothpastes. And
Special
one thing's
stuff.
for sure, though,
Yeah.
he's not stealing your hairdryer. We know
No,
that.
well,
No, he's not stealing the hairdryer. Although he has hair, he just won't grow it.
see? There it is.
Oh, so it's there for when he wants it. He's just keeping it. He's keeping it undercover for now. If he wants it, he'll go with it.
He's very well maintained. He goes to the nail salon. We have a nail person, like a specific.
Oh, you have
nail
a specific
person.
nail person.
No, Vito has a
Yeah.
specific
Oh, Vito
nail
does.
person.
Are you
No,
allowed to
Vito
go to the
does.
same one?
I don't go to the same lady because I mean we go to the same salon. We go to the same.
Do you go at the
salon.
same time?
Yes, we usually go a Saturday morning. People ask about how we meet and that and things like that. Vito always has these like amazing stories of huge fairy tales that aren't true, like about how like I broke my phone trying to dial him. He called me first.
Oh,
I
see?
think he Googled it. I think he was like, "Oh man,
this could work for me.
I got the hookup. This is gonna
Yeah.
work out." She's probably got
hot.
the wax.
She'll do
you
the
know.
wax, everything.
I'll never have to go to the salon again. Look at that. See? So
But he's a very handsome man, and he maintains himself very well.
And that's
why
all
you
we can
like
ask for in this
that's
world.
why you keep him, see?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, keep him around.
you talk about how you take care of Vito, but we know that he takes care of you too. I know that you've had some challenges the last couple of years with some health scares there, and you know you and Vito have been taking this journey together. What does it mean to have such a supportive husband by your side while you're dealing with some of these things?
It's amazing. He's an amazing person. He told me when we got married, he said his goal was always to be the best in wrestling and to make it, which he did. And then he said, now my goal is to be the best husband and family man I can be. That's my new goal. And he has more than lived up to that, far above and beyond. When after I had a stroke in February, I could hardly talk. I couldn't see. I can't walk anyway. I had weakness in my arms. I didn't know where I was. I didn't recognize my kids, my family, nothing. I knew Vito.
So how are you
And I
doing
did.
now?
I'm starting to do a lot better. We had like a real turnaround in August. I was bad, pretty bad up until August. But they tell you the first 6 months are the worst. And they were. But doing the project that we're doing together, the Big Vito brand project, it really does help me because I can use my skills and try to learn to work around some of my deficiencies. Like I lost a lot of my eyesight, and the state took my driver's license to declare me legally blind. But I have to learn to be able to work around that. So the doctors were telling Vito, she's got to use her brain. And that's when we came up with doing the project. And then,
So talk to us about the show a little bit. You know, for those folks that haven't tuned in or checked it out yet, you know, what's it all about?
well, we do a YouTube show. It's youtube.com/the Big Vito brand. And what it's about is we call it Wrestling with Reality. A lot of it is about our life after wrestling. Because, Vito stopped wrestling when I got hurt, and he had some of his own medical issues, too. And then I had mine, and I stopped before him. And we just decided that people can have a successful life if they walk away from wrestling. And even though we do, like, wrestling podcasts and things like that, we do stuff like we go on trips and do things, or we do restaurant like reviews with healthy food. We try to do a bunch of different things to like open up. Like Thursdays we're starting to do a YouTube stream, and it's no wrestling. It's just going to be about life and being married and dealing with, health issues and our stories and things like that. So it's about life after wrestling.
Your fans are listening here, and they watched you for so long. You literally are still considered one of the hottest women to ever be in the pro wrestling business.
Thank you.
Address your fans there who had wondered what had happened to you and were a little concerned and what have you. What do you want to say to the folks out there?
I still love everybody. I still think about all the people that I used to see when I would travel around, and you make friends with a lot of fans, and then when you go away, you don't get to see them anymore. And it's kind of sad. I keep up with some on Facebook, but, I thank everybody for their continued support. I thank everybody for supporting me and Vito when we go through this difficult time, but we're getting better. Those type of people, fans, I appreciate everybody. I really, really do.
It's funny, Boston Bad Boy.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that you were fixing your hair and getting yourself all worked up because we were having...
if it works for Vito, I feel like that guy spends a lot of time in the mirror.
Yeah.
Again, he's a handsome fellow.
He is a handsome fellow. That's one thing we can't deny.
Right, but sometimes that takes work. Not all of us, like me, are
born. He primps.
Not all of us, like me, are born beautiful.
Oh,
Some people have to work at it.
Sure.
I mean, I just wake up and I'm ready to go. I'm dashing.
Oh.
I'm brooding.
Really?
Tall, dark, handsome. I've got it
you're
all.
A brute, all right.
Yeah, I've got it all. So
unbelievable. Shout out to Big Vito.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, though, most importantly, this is the time in the show when I'm really, really, really thinking about the Popeyes.
Again with the Popeyes. It's not the Popeyes. It's Popeyes. What is this? What's wrong with you?
For me, it holds a higher echelon. It's a little bit fancier when you say the Popeyes.
The Popeyes. Okay. Right. Well, you got your. What was it? 2-piece, 3-piece?
I got the 3-piece.
3-piece.
And I think that's enough.
Sure.
I think I saw some folks in there that were going with the box.
Yeah.
Which is for larger amounts.
Sure.
I suppose if you're having a whole dinner with people, sure. Too much for me.
Well, here's the thing. Don't put it in the fridge and then put it in the microwave the next day.
No, you can't do that with fried chicken.
You got to put it in the stove, man.
Yeah, it's dry. You need the dry heat.
Yep.
Because the crunchiness,
it
all goes away.
It's gone, and then you ruin the whole thing.
Right.
It's ruined.
Have you ever made fried chicken at home?
Of course, all the time.
Can you get it to be that good? You think you can get close to that consistency?
Yeah, but the new thing, and I think I'm going to get it for myself for Christmas: the air fryers.
See, you're into gadgets like that.
I am.
You're a gadget man.
I'm
a gadget, but I see, I know that most kitchen gadgets are crap, and I would think that the air fryer is probably up there.
This is real deal, bro. Real deal.
All right, so what we should do is, I have an idea.
Okay.
Once you get your air fryer, I will get a nice cast iron Dutch oven, and I will do the traditional. I'll learn to do the traditional Southern style fried chicken.
Okay.
You do the air style,
and we'll have a taste off. I love it. Done.
I'm going to win no matter what, but we'll have a taste off.
I'm pretty sure you're not going to win, but nice try. All right, well, up next, the Boston Bad Boy is going to have more of your listener-submitted questions. I don't care what complaints he has, like he did last week and the week before. I'm done with that, okay? I'm done with it. But before we get to any of that...
Yeah, you're running your mouth quite a bit over there.
No, I'm done with it, all right? You're gonna do what your job entails. But before we get to any of that, folks, got to remind you, check out Duke Loves Rasslin on YouTube. We have all of our shows archived there. You can listen to our fantastic interview with the man, the Duke of Dorchester. We're talking about Pete Doherty. Pete has a big surgery coming up on the 7th of December. We're pulling for him.
And we got a huge response to that,
Huge response. His family is so over the moon about it.
That was probably the most fun interview we've done so far.
Yeah, and he's
a great guy.
Articles written about it, the whole 9 yards.
And as several of our listeners actually saw Pete when he wrestled, some of the local folks that listen to the show here in the Boston area saw him wrestle many times.
Yes.
Local hero.
Very fond of him. So, hey, shout out to Pete Doherty. You can listen to that episode and so much more, folks. Head over to Duke Loves Rasslin on YouTube. That's right.
This is Rudy Boy Gonzalez of the Texas Wrestling Academy, and you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
Boy, I think it's time to get rid of that Rudy Boy Gonzalez breaks for us here, because he's really getting on my nerves lately.
Well, look, you know, Rudy and I have a habit of debating each other often online. That's sort of our
that's
daily
you can say
routine.
that lightly. Yeah, you guys, it's a pastime for
That's
you
right.
guys.
That's right. It's
a second job.
It's like playing a pickup game of basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the other person's playing chess.
Yeah, because that's the problem there. But I'll tell you, just don't forget, Rudy's a big dude.
Yeah.
And he knows how to twist people up.
Oh, the only reason I'm saying anything about Rudy is that he's like 17 states away.
Exactly.
If he was local, I'd keep my mouth shut.
Well,
but,
me too.
You know,
me too.
Yeah.
I can run faster than him. So actually, I don't even know if that's true. You know, this guy can bounce off the ropes and do these flippy things and do all this stuff.
But how long? I mean, sprinting. If you could get a little endurance out of it, all you need to make sure is you can get a little endurance. I think you got
Good point. Good point. So because of that, Rudy Boy Gonzalez, you watch your mouth when you talk to the dude. That's it. That's right. Please don't hurt me.
Speaking of interesting discussions.
Yes.
This week, first of all, I want to say, when you're submitting questions to this show, either in writing or in voice, you'll have a better chance of me taking your question if you give me some of the Popeyes. Okay? So if you pay me off in the Popeyes, your question will get on, guaranteed. Okay.
Wow.
I just wanted to say that. Now, let's move on, because there was an interesting discussion on the page. They were talking about who everyone prefers, Mandy Rose or Dana Brooke. Now, I would have assumed people would say Mandy Rose because she's flavor of the month, top of mind.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, apparently, if they're not lying, people have an attachment to Dana Brooke.
Yes, I do.
Well, you're insane, though. So, but I mean, why? What do you, you know?
You know, Dana, she's a hard worker, man. She really is. She's put a lot into her wrestling career. That doesn't mean she's the greatest wrestler of all time. I know some of you folks like to throw that out there. You know, somebody said to me, well, he's no Ric Flair. Well, nobody's Ric Flair except for Ric Flair.
Yeah, you
know
exactly
what I mean?
Right. It's like saying, well, no Cary Grant. Well, all right. Well, yeah.
Obviously, you know, so-and-so's not the greatest champion. Yeah, there's only one greatest.
He's no Babe Ruth.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, all right,
who is other than Babe Ruth? So the point is, I mean, Dana Brooke, she does a good job, and she's progressed, and she really commits to her character. So, man, we love Dana Brooke, all right? No one's going to say anything negative about Dana Brooke while I'm around. It's just not going to happen. And I know, speaking of Rudy Boy Gonzalez, you know he has a crush on Dana Brooke.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
But his problem is he doesn't know her name. He calls her Dana Brooks.
Yeah.
With the S.
His other
He's
problem,
one of those.
His other problem is that his woman's going to kill him if she finds out.
Too.
So
but,
that's a bigger problem.
Just keep that a secret. But,
yeah, I won't tell her if you don't.
Okay, fine.
The fact that anybody agrees with you on this Dana Brooke thing, by the way, is insane, because your listeners are insane, and the people on the page are insane. So, again, it doesn't. Suddenly, society doesn't want the flavor of the month. I don't believe it. I think there's it's ridiculous, and it just proves that these people who send in questions and listen to this show, boy, they really ought to be checked out.
Here we go again with you, disrespecting the fans. You're rude.
So, I did get an interesting clip of a question from one of our listeners that I thought would be pertinent to wrestling, since I guess we got to do that once in a while. So
they're not Popeyes.
Well, not yet. This might be the last one that gets through without any Popeyes.
Here we go.
The Popeyes. So this question is from Kia. Here we go.
Kia.
Hi, Duke. My name is Kia. I'm from North Carolina. My question for the podcast today is to why WWE doesn't have more diva-like theme belts. Like, you know, why doesn't the Divas have like a mid-card belt, the tag team belt? Like, you have all these women now that are coming to the main roster and then even the NXT shows, but you only have like 2 belts for Raw and SmackDown and then 1 belt for NXT. You have a lot of talented women, and it's like they're gonna fight for 1 belt that they're never gonna get. So my question is to why just 2 belts, and why doesn't WWE get something done about that?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, I like the Southern twang.
Yeah, well,
Kia
take it easy. Take it easy.
She has a
over
little
there.
twang going on there.
All right,
that's pretty cool.
Right.
You know I'm a country music fan, so I like the twang.
Oh boy,
that's right.
Jesus Christ.
That's an excellent question, Kia. Excellent question, and I wonder the same thing myself. I'm glad you asked me that question because you know Vince McMahon's a very good friend of mine.
All right, here we go. You know what? I'm going to cut you.
I would know what's going on in the WWE.
Do you know why they don't have all these extra belts?
Why?
Because they don't respect the women enough, and they don't want to give them more shots. They don't want them to get big. They don't want them to get empowered. They don't want them to get, out of Vince's control. They don't want the women to become more famous than the men. This is all what's going on in society. We talked about this earlier with Alberto El Patron and that situation. There's this unlevel playing field, and some people don't want it ever to get leveled. So the only reason, because they have the roster, they have the talent. The reason they're not doing more with them is because they don't want to. That's it. Simple. Done. And Vince McMahon's the head of all that, so you do the math. That's it.
Well, wait.
That's all there is about that.
Did you notice that Kia sent the message to Duke? So why are you answering
She's
the question?
new to sending questions.
Oh.
She doesn't understand that when she says Duke, she means the show, and I am the show, so that's how it happens. So now she'll know. Because guess what? As you're hemming and hawing, and, Vince is a friend of mine,
well,
I gave you the answer.
Oh.
There's the answer. I give the answer. Yeah. I give the right answer, the answer that's the truth.
Disgraceful.
I am the way.
Yeah. Yeah, the wrong way. How about that?
I am one way.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Okay, next question. Let's go.
Okay, so the next question is from me.
Oh, boy.
And you know it's not going to really be a question, but you know how I like to do hypotheticals?
No.
Because I already know the answer.
Oh, boy.
But I just like to watch you squirm and dangle on the end of my little hook that I...
oh, really?
Like a little worm out there on the end of a fishing pole.
Oh, my Buddha.
So I've been checking out what the listeners are talking about, as we mentioned a few moments ago. I do my research. I love all people, and they love me. And I noticed something that's picking up a little bit of steam here and there. And I keep seeing his mug pop up in the news feed. Is that Daniel Bryan is trying to convince the WWE to let him wrestle again. And he's even gone so far as to get second and third opinion from doctors to tell the WWE that they disagree with their doctors and that Bryan's safe to wrestle. So tell me this. What are your thoughts on Daniel Bryan, a.k.a. the Almost Vegetable, wanting to wrestle in the ring again?
Well, first of all, don't talk about Daniel Bryan like that, because you know that I'm a big fan of his.
I don't care.
And
I don't care because
about
the
his
guy
safety and well-being.
Okay,
don't say almost
so based
vegetable.
on that, based on you're a big fan of the guy,
yeah,
you're a big fan of his safety and well-being,
yeah,
what are you going to say?
Well, listen. If the doctors approve it,
get the hell
then
out
you got to
get the hell out of here.
Let me just,
because I know where you're going.
If the doctors approve it, why can't you let the guy finish living his dream? Okay, that's
all
he ever wanted in life.
You know what? I bet that Michael Jackson fans said, if the doctor approves them shooting him with propofol, it's fine.
Stop
sure,
it.
The doctor approved it. The doctor ended up in jail, didn't he?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So what's to say that these doctors that Bryan's getting, because he's so desperate to get back in the ring, despite the fact that he will injure himself irreversibly, what's to say that these aren't quacks that he's hiring just because he's desperate? It's pretty obvious here. It's not like there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. The guy's had so many concussions, he's lost count. He was having seizures because of the brain damage he already has, and he's trying to cover it up. Why would anybody, from a business standpoint, your best friend, quote-unquote, Vince McMahon, why are they going to take a chance on this guy?
Well,
they're not. They're not.
If the doctors approve it, they should. He's one of the top stars in the history of the business.
Once again, speaking of dangling, Vince has also got you on the hook and everybody else. He's never, in his right mind, ever going to approve this guy to wrestle. But what he's doing, he's generating headlines. Daniel Bryan's face is in my news feed every 2 days, and that's why. Otherwise, this guy disappears. If he's not wrestling, what's he got? He's not a legend. He's not a guy. He's not a Ric Flair that just has the cachet and had the history to work off that. He's gone. So the only thing now they can do is dangle him, because they will be on the hook for attempted murder if they put this guy in the ring again.
Would you stop it right now?
That's how dangerous he is.
No.
That's your hero, Vince McMahon. He's going to draw it out and be dramatic, and Bryan's going to get caught up in the web, because remember, he's got one of these contracts he can't get out of anyway. So they're pushing him over there. They know he really wants to, so they're effing with his head, never mind everybody else's interest, and it's just going on and on and on. They got him on, what's he on? The stupid E! shows that you watch. I don't even know the names of them.
They're not stupid, all right? Total Divas and Total Bellas, they're top shows. They're not stupid.
They're stupid because they're going to get even more stupid, because now the plot lines of these shows are going to be about, is he going to go back in the ring or is he not going to? He's crying about it. He's at a doctor's office. And this can go on for years and years and years. And if I'm the carny, if I'm Vince McMahon and I'm trying to do the circus show, I want that, because that puts asses in the seats and it makes the whole show work.
you know what? It's like you take joy in saying these negative things all the time.
No, it's called realistic.
No,
it's called realistic.
You're being negative right now, and I think that at
Why
this
am
point,
I being negative? You're the guy who's a big fan of him. You're the guy that doesn't want him to get hurt, and I'm the guy saying he shouldn't be in the ring.
Well, no, who are you?
He's going to get hurt in the ring.
Who are you? Who are you to say who should be in the ring?
I get a brain in my fucking head. That's how I know. And you know, and his brain is damaged from all the hits it's taken.
Well,
and you should have a brain if you're a fan and have a little heart.
That's it.
You should have a little heart. You can argue with me all day long about how I'm negative. You've got no heart. You're a phony baloney fan. You don't really care about him. All you care about is your pretend relationship with Vince, and that's why you won't ever take the side of someone who you claim to be such a big fan of. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting.
You
make me sick.
Folks.
I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. I'm done.
Thank you to Lil Noel Harlow LoGrasso for joining us today. You can head over to Facebook, Twitter. Type in Duke Loves Rasslin.
Yeah, head over there.
Let us know that you disagree with the Boston Bad Boy for being disrespectful
the real fans of wrestling,
to Daniel Bryan,
real fans,
to Vince McMahon.
You're getting a little
to
too big for your britches here.
And to all of you, this guy is terrible. Okay,
I'm not even a fan of the guy. I care more about his health and well-being than you do.
You just want to rant about something because you have a problem with Vince McMahon.